The whole idea of this game is to have plantations and have production buildings or plants, like an indigo plant or a tobacco storage or a coffee roaster or a sugar mill, one of these production plants. So you have a field, you have a production plant, and then you put colonists on them to produce goods. So for example, if you have a small indigo plant and you have an indigo right there, and if you have a colonist on each one of them, whenever it comes to production phase, you can create one indigo good. And one of these goods can either be sold for money or it can be shipped off and to earn victory points. You need money to build more buildings, but you ultimately need victory points to win the game. So that's the whole idea. Let me just show you a typical way how this game is being played on the first 1 or 2 rounds. And while I'm going through the rounds, I guess I can explain the rows. These are the rows, the different rows of the game. So at the very beginning, the governor gets to start the game. The governor can pick one row. Whenever the person picks a row, they get to do whatever that row is, and they get an extra privilege of picking that row. And the rest of the players, they also get to play that row, but they don't get that privilege. Let's say player 1 goes ahead and chooses the settler card. The settler row, this card right here, the whole idea is new plantations. So these plantations down here, you can build a new plantation. So these are the face up plantations, the face up tile cards, and this is where player 1 can pick from. It can pick either indigo, coffee right here, or corn. However, the privilege of being the settler is that you can pick a quarry instead. Everybody else can't pick the quarry, but as the person who picks the row, they get this privilege. So most likely the settler will pick the quarry. So for this player right here, he cannot pick the quarry, however he can pick one of these faced up cards. Most likely he'll pick indigo plant. So, and then the third player is corn. By the way, just to let you know real quick that corn does not have a factory building. It does not need a factory building in order to produce corn. So corn is a very cheap way to earn victory points, because it doesn't matter if it's corn, sugar, indigo, tobacco, and coffee, they all only give you 1 victory point. However, coffee, indigo, sugar, and tobacco, you can earn money from it. Corn, you earn no money from it. So it depends on how you want to do the gameplay. You pick whatever plantations you want. So let's say this player right here, go ahead and pick another corn. So he has 2 corns, and that is basically the end of the settler row. At the end of the row, you burn your cards. So these 2 cards are burned away, and you flip over 4 new cards, because there's 3 players. It's always how many players plus 1. So 3 players will be 3 plus 1, which is 4 cards. 4 players will be 4 plus 1, which are 5 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So those are the next 4 plantations that can be selected next time. So now player 2. Now player 2 gets to pick a row also. So player 2, let's say he picks the building phase. The builder. So the builder, you get to build buildings. Pretty obviously, these are the purple buildings and these are the production buildings. Because he has 2 indigo, most likely he wants to have a indigo plant. So if you look right here, the indigo plant costs 3 doubloon, or coins, 3 coins basically. Well, the privilege of being a builder is that you get 1 coin discount, so it's only 2 coins. He starts out with 2 coins, so he can buy this even though it's 3 coins. Now it comes to this player. This player doesn't really need any production buildings, doesn't need the top buildings right here, so might as well he probably would go for a purple building. One of the good purple buildings at the very beginning of the game is the Hacienda, and that gives you a special privilege if it's activated, and you have to put a colonist in it to activate it. It costs 2 coins, and he has 2 coins. Pays it right there. So the third player. So the third player has an indigo plant. Maybe he should just go ahead and just buy 1 small indigo plant, which costs only 1 coin. In the future, with Query, if it's activated with a colonist, let's say if it is activated with a colonist on it, basically queries give you discount on every single column of buildings you can build. So this first column right here, if you have at least 1 query, then you get 1 discount. Doesn't matter if you have 2 queries or 3 queries that are activated, you only get 1 discount. $1 discount. And then if you have 2 query, then you get 2 discount right here. If you have 4, you get 4 coin discount right here. So if it's $10, it becomes $6. So you do definitely want queries. It's kind of like money. So if you can't earn, if you don't have like expensive produces to, like if you don't have coffee or tobacco, like these nice cash crop, then you might want to have queries to make things cheaper. You can never go negative. So, and even though if you have 4, you cannot apply 4 queries on like a 2. This is only 2, deduct by 2 queries max. So anyway, back to the game. So since he doesn't have a guy on query, he really can't have any discount. He only has $2. He has 1 indigo. Might as well just buy 1 indigo. So there you go. So now each player has their building bought. Now down to the third player. So for the third player, he might want to go and be the mayor. So the mayor is, if you read right here, it says new colonists. So this is the colonist ship, and there's the colonists on board at the very beginning of the game. With 3 players, there's only 3 colonists. So you might as well just go with that. So what happened is that each person following clockwise gets 1, 2, and 3. If there are more colonists, then it keeps on going and going and going around and around until there's no more colonists. And as the mayor, he gets a privilege of 1 extra colonist that he has to pick out from the board at the end. If there's no more colonists left, he doesn't get that privilege anymore. So if I were him, I would probably put 1 on the Hacienda to activate that, so he gets 1 extra card, and maybe he'll put 1 on the corn. For this guy right here, because you need both the indigo plantation and the plant to you need 2 guys to make it activated to produce goods. Now he only has 1, so it's purposeless. If he puts, there's no reason why he wants to put a colonist on either one of these locations. So instead, it's probably better off if he puts it on query, because that way he'll have 1 less whenever if he ever goes into building, if he ever is a builder. Same situation with this, doesn't really matter. You can just put it in here. He won't get to produce any indigo yet until when they have more colonists. So after everybody places their guys, move their guys around with their colonists, now we can fill back up the colonist ship. So the way how you fill it up is that you count how many white remaining spots are there. So there's 1, 2 right here, 2 white spots, 4 right here, and 1 right there. So 5, 6, 7 colonists. We put 7 colonists on the ship. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And let's say if you forget to fill back up the colonist ship with colonists, then you only put the bare minimum, 3 colonists in there. And let's say if there was only 1 white spot left, you still put 3. You always, the bare minimum, you always put the amount of players that are there on the colonist ship. You fill it back up. So that's the end of the mayor row, and that's the end of everybody. Everybody's done a row. So there's remaining 3 cards left, and what you do is you take a coin and you reward each one of them with a coin to make them a little bit more desirable. Everybody puts back the remaining cards on here, and then the row for the governor goes down here. So now he's player 1, 2, and 3. So he needs more colonists because he can't do anything. So maybe he'll go ahead and be the mayor. So if he's the mayor, just like the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and at the end he gets 1 more. So he got a pretty good deal on being the mayor. 4 people, 2, and 2 for them. So very quickly he'll just put 2 over there, 2 over here. Well, there's 1 more. Might as well put 1 over here. So even though he has 3 colonists in the indigo plant, but he only has 2 fields, so at the end he only can produce 2 goods when it comes to the craftsman or the production phase, but we'll worry about that later.